Hello, everyone. This is Coach Charmaine from Charmaine Ashby Life and Marriage Coaching, and we're going to be talking about the art of listening, transforming relationships through communication. One of the things I want you to know is that these things that we're going to be talking about today are things that I've actually learned from experience in my own relationship, but also things that I have learned from the people that I've worked with. The beauty of marriage coaching is there is a great opportunity for co-creation, and we've co-created some wonderful things together over the past few years. So here's a question for you. Have you ever felt like you're having the same argument over and over again? So our purpose today is to explore how listening can strengthen relationships. And just to give you a quick overview, which you can clearly see, the power of listening, letting go of the need to win, which is a huge one, transforming conflict into connection, which is another super huge one, steps for better communication and long-term benefits. So let's go into the power of true listening. First of all, the first thing I've got to let you know is that everything that we're going to be discussing right now is practice. This is practice, practice, practice. Nobody gets this overnight. I am still practicing. We'll be practicing throughout our relationship if that is important to us and if we really want to see long-term results. So let's go into the definition. Listening is understanding the emotions and intentions behind the words. Ooh, isn't that a huge one? Because sometimes we misunderstand those emotions, sometimes we misunderstand those intentions. And it's during those times when we feel like we've been either misunderstood or that we have misunderstood that we have to kind of self-correct and say to ourselves, let's not go ballistic. Let's either clarify our statements in a calm manner or let us ask clarifying questions. So here's the problem. Couples often focus on rebuttals rather than understanding. What does that mean? Everybody's trying to be right. Everybody's trying to win. Even though there's an important topic on the table, everyone is trying to get their point across and nobody's listening to what the other person is saying, but they're trying to win. So key point, listening builds empathy and connection. So when somebody is talking, you don't necessarily have to agree with them. You don't even have to think they're right. But listening deflates conversations and it can build empathy and connection. So here's an example. A partner saying, "You never help me," often means they feel overwhelmed. And so this is an example of hearing a statement and going beyond what is actually being said, because now we're listening and we're saying, okay, what is this person saying? And then coming to the understanding that, okay, maybe they feel overwhelmed. Here's the beauty of it though. They may not, you may not get that understanding that day. You may not get that understanding until the following day when you've had a chance to decompress or debrief. So keep that in mind. You don't necessarily have to come to the understanding at the moment the conversation is going on. This is why listening again is important. Now here is something that is a practice skill. I want you to think about this. This is a practice skill, letting go of the need to win. Now this doesn't mean the silent treatment. This doesn't mean I'm just going to step out of the relationship mentally or step out of the argument mentally. No, this doesn't mean that at all. This means that the desire that I have to get my point across and to win this conversation or win this argument or to walk away feeling victorious is not there. I'm letting that go. And so when that happens, when that doesn't happen, I should say, arguments turn into competition. Oh boy, how many times have I heard in relationships where couples are being honest that they are competing? They are competing. They are competing. Thank you. So here's a key idea. Relationships are not about winning. Not relationships. Races are about winning. Um, um, Other competitive types of activities. Maybe I've got to compete with other people at work in order to get the number one bonus versus the number three bonus. This is not about, that's not about marriage. That's not about spending your life with someone, spending time with someone, deciding this is my life partner. This is the person that I want to be hooked up with for the rest of my life. This is a person that I'm going to enter into a marriage contractual agreement with. That's what we're talking about here when we're talking about relationships. So here's a solution. Doesn't necessarily have to be the only solution, and it's not the only solution. But this is something that you can practice to help you stay in tune with the person you say you want to spend the rest of your life with. Listen with the intent to lose the argument. This is monumental because now you are engaging with that person on an entirely other level. You're saying, I want to hear you. I need to hear what you're saying. Everything in me, everything in me is rising up against the words that you're saying, but I'm going to try my best to push all of that stuff down and hear you. Here's a quote. I see where you're coming from. That is a wonderful statement that you can use to express that you understand. You don't necessarily have to agree. You don't even have to like it. But do you hear? Do you understand? And so here's an example. Share a dialogue showing how prioritizing understanding over being right diffuses tension. And this is something that may come up later on in the slides, but I want you to think about this. Role playing before you actually get into a heated discussion can help you when you're in a heated discussion, especially role playing those ideas that you know that you guys are butting heads against. Role playing is something I use in my coaching practice, and it works wonders because so much revelation and illumination comes out of that because we're just role playing. This is not the real argument. This is not the real debate. This is not the real issue. This isn't something that's just come up at the last minute, but this is something that we have decided to not talk about on a super serious level, but to role play possible outcomes. It's a powerful way to move your conversation along and to honor and value and respect each other. So, which brings us to transforming conflict into connection. Opportunity in conflict. Where's the opportunity? Listen, I love this because in every situation we face in life, whether they're perceived to be good situations or bad situations or whatever kinds of situations, these are situations that are there are opportunities. There are opportunities, so many opportunities. And guess what? Even in conflict, there's an opportunity. But it takes somebody who is practicing looking for an opportunity in conflict. So here's another skill to be able to see beyond what is happening at this moment and look for an opportunity to turn the emotions around, to turn the conflict around. Here's a technique. It's called active listening, and active listening is has been used for ages to help us understand how to communicate better. But active listening has a lot of different definitions. So one of the things you want to do is look for an opportunity to validate the person's feelings. I understand why you feel that way. Or I want to understand why you feel that way. Or I'm trying to understand why you feel that way. Can you help me understand why you feel that way? And then here's another idea: reflect emotions. It sounds like you're feeling, and this is not an opportunity to take a dig. This is an opportunity to say what you really feel in your heart. That's not going to be offensive. It sounds like this is making you sad. It sounds like this is weighing heavy on you. This sounds like you're feeling anxious, you know. And here's an example. Conflict scenario turned into a heartfelt connection because now I am leaning into the conversation. Now you are leaning into the conversation. And when we're going back and forth and we're just trying to get our point across and trying to have a rebuttal, we're leaning out of the conversation. We're moving further and further away from each other. And that's not the goal in relationships, as you well know. The goal is to move closer and closer to each other. So here's part one of improving your communication. Take a moment to process before responding. This is a practice skill. This is not the easiest thing to do if you have not been doing it. Don't think it's going to happen overnight, but these are techniques that you can use and begin to start practicing and thinking about and internalizing when you're having conversations with your life partner or with anybody really, but we're really talking about your life partner because this is a person that you want to spend the rest of your life with. This is a person who means the most to you. This is a person who you want to get along with. You want to have synergy. You want to be one. Here's an example. I hear you're feeling overwhelmed. Let's unpack that. Let's get to the root of what this overwhelming feeling is. Is it that you've taken on too many responsibilities, either at work or at home? Is there anything I can do to help relieve some of the pressure that you may be feeling? Let's unpack that. Let's look into it. I want to help. I'm here for you. I want you to know that you can come to me. We can talk before it gets to this place of being explosive and people are not talking. And that really goes into asking clarifying questions. So here's part two. You want to validate. Even if you disagree, acknowledging emotions helps you to validate. Another practice skill, being able to say something encouraging, even in the midst of maybe a situation that is where people are not happy. Example, it makes sense that you feel that way. I'm going to tell you something. At the time that you say this, it may not make sense. But if you just say it, it may make sense later on. That's been my experience. Just to, show validation, show love, show concern. You can say, hey, it makes sense you feel that way. And in the back of your mind, you might be saying, I don't know about that. But then once you give yourself 24 hours, 48 hours to think about what has been said, it's like, oh my goodness, it really does make sense that you feel that way. You want to avoid distractions. Listen, if you want to have any kind of meaningful conversation, you got to put your phone away. You got to turn off your computer. You got to turn off the TV. You got to focus on your partner. Also, you want to keep the comments concise. Very important. One of the things one of the rules that we have in marriage coaching is that be brief. Be brief. We only have an hour. Be brief. Try to think about what you want to say before you say it. Sum it up and give the other person an opportunity to respond. And also, because I'm working with the couple, give me a chance to get in there too. Can't do that if you're, really just going on and on and on. Be brief, which is another practice skill. And let's look at the long-term benefits. Stronger connection. It fosters trust and mutual respect, deeper understanding, People begin to feel more valued, more heard, and you're creating a positive cycle, something that you're going to continue to do. This is not just for right now. This is for your relationship if you truly care. Listen, one of the things I want to say to you guys that I often say to my couples, it is important that you're feeling good on the inside about yourself. And a lot of times conflict is not about issues, it's not about what you disagree about. It's about not feeling good on the inside about yourself. Now, if that is you, you need to share that with your partner. You know what? I've gained a lot of weight. I'm not feeling really good about myself right now, and I'm just taking it out in other ways. It's just showing up in other ways, and different things are triggering it. That could be something that is said, or listen, I've worked 70 hours this week, and I totally need to get some rest today. I got one day off before I got to go back to the grind, and I need to really, really get my head together. You got to do what you need to do in order to rest and in order to be as well as you can for your partner. So here's a call to action. I want to invite you to sign up for coaching services. I want to invite you to start on the journey of transforming your relationship. You won't regret it. Anything you want to be better, you maintenance. Let's talk about it for a second. You have your home. You're not going to let the roof cave in. Every so often, you're going to put a new roof on. You're going to repair other things around your home. You're making an investment. Same way with your car. You're not going to let your car go without oil. You're not going to let your car go without being maintenance or serviced. And listen, these are things that are not, in many cases, are not going to last a lifetime. You may move to another home. You're certainly going to buy another car. But your relationship, you expect your relationship to last. Nobody goes into a relationship and expects to get divorced. So what are you doing? What are you investing? What are you putting into your relationship to help it last for your lifetimes? And that's what I want to express to you. Your relationships need support. And once you practice these skills, you'll find other ways to support your relationship. You'll find other resources to support your relationship. This is just one of many. But again, I want to invite you to come to www.ashbyalive.com and sign up for coaching services. And there's also an opportunity there to also have a free account. So please sign up for the free account and take advantage of all the benefits that we have for you there. So I hope that you enjoyed this. If you did, like it, share it, and I hope to hear from you in the comments section. See you in the next video.